The funny thing is that we've always had a fight too. Like when people keep saying, "I can't wait to get back to the things way we were," like we don't want anything to get back to the things the way they were. Not anybody on this screen because it's never been good for us. And I just think it's really funny to hear that. But I do want to point out though, I a lot of people have said to me, Donald Trump is not as bad for the Black community and the brown community. He might have said what he said, but the things that he did, the policies were not as harmful to Black people and brown people as we like to say. And I disagree. I think he was being racist in both ways. And if you think immigration does not affect Black people, then you don't know. You have no idea of geography. You don't know anything about race. You don't know anything about what that really means. Because there are a bunch of Black people right now who are locked up in these concentration camps, like I like to call them, not just in Mexico, but they deported a bunch of African people and Haitian people in the last couple of days. So when we have these conversations and we say they didn't really do anything for against Black people in this country, I beg to differ. I think Donald Trump was problematic across the board.
Yeah, I love that you pointed that out. And obviously it's going to come from, someone like you. It's really strong coming from someone like you. But, a lot of that comes down to, lack of education. Just period, let alone the fact that a lot of brown countries are full of Black people, but also Haitian people were deported at alarming rates, Jamaican people, Nigerian people. I don't even, of course, that all affects, we cannot, equality means equality, right? Like, I don't even know, you know what I mean? When people say, oh, immigration doesn't affect us, I don't even understand I don't know where to start on how ridiculously wrong that is. But they don't teach us themselves, so of course we don't know.
Yeah,
and we have to separate and fight each other to get what we need, which is absurd.
Right. It turns us against one another. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's where we need to have our focus right now. When Trump did the Muslim ban, right? People have a bad interpretation of what that means. That's people from like Africa, that's people from countries in Africa too, Liberians as well. Like Trump, when he said shit on countries, he meant brown and Black people. Like, it's not just, brown people, Black people as well. So his rhetoric was charged and people just had a false idea of who he was going after. But look, guys, there have been people, and I've heard them, man, they said they're concerned about immigration, they're concerned about jobs and access. Hey, look, I'm not convinced that that has any real impact on Black people because America's been screwing this over way before they start doing, before DACA. So it's not like, oh, well, we need to shut down immigration for Black people to get a fair shake. America's not giving us a fair shake either way. We need to fight the system, not fight each other. Let's form allyships with all of us, and let's take on the people that are really with their boots on our neck. And that's white supremacy, and that affects us all.
Yeah, and you know what? I as a Latina person who does claim my Blackness and my African heritage, I will say this: there is truth to the way that some immigrants come into this country and they form businesses and they build wealth at the expense of Black people. They are in Black American neighborhoods, and Black people have been wronged historically in this country, and that does not take away from that journey. And that's not what I'm trying to say, because it is a very specific experience that which belongs to the Black American and the descendants of the slaves of this country. And so I don't dispute that. But what I'm saying is that, and as Tim and Brooke both said, it's been a great tactic to keep us divided, because we are always looking at each other and we're never looking up at the hand that is oppressing us all. And as long as we continue to do that, they will continue to sprinkle these talking points to the people who they don't believe have the best educations, because they fall for it.